All right, guys. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is staying safe in this crazy world we're living in. So, welcome to another podcast. Um, I'm not sure really where I want to go with this one. um, but I want to emphasize everybody should have food, water, shelter, means of self-defense, and medicine. Those are the 5 things that you need to survive. Things are about to get hairy. And there's no shame in having to move back in with your family. There's no shame in having to admit that you have to do something you don't want to and move back in with your folks. But things are going to get progressively worse, especially if you're in a city area. Especially the northern cities, which is why there's a lot of people moving to the south. There's a lot of people moving to the south from the north, from the west. Things are about to get really bad financially for a lot of people. And where does this end? I don't know. Does this end with empty store shelves? Will this end with no gas? Will this end like Venezuela with empty supermarket shelves? Crime? Because when people have nothing, they get desperate. Violence? Incarceration? Where does this end? We know this story. If you've been watching my podcast, you know. We know this story. We know how this plays out. We know our history. We know World War II. We know World War I. We know the past. We know Rome. We know Greece. We know the history. So we know where this goes. We are entering another dark period in human history. I hope everyone understands that. Nobody is safe. And so food, water, shelter, means of self-defense, and medicine. Those are the 5 things that you will need in the next couple years to survive what's coming. I don't want to get into the technical parts of it right now, or the complex systems as to why things will turn out the way they will. I just want to warn everybody what's coming, man. America has been sold out to the highest bidder. That's what happened. And this tyranny will come from the left. It will not come from the right. This tyranny will come from the left. I've studied communism. I've studied fascism. I know the difference between left and right politics. This is a tyranny that's coming from the left. Just like Stalin, just like Mao, just like Che, America is turning into a communist country. We're turning into Venezuela. We're turning into other communist countries, Cuba. And there's mathematical, statistical reasons for that. and it comes down to finances. It comes down to a caste system, kings and queens. It's a very old story in the story of history. We are going back to a winner-take-all system. And it was done under the guise of, we're here to keep you safe. We're here to protect you. That's how it was pulled off. And so I don't know where this goes, man. I see a lot of desperate people. I see a lot of uneducated people. I see a lot of people who think they're going to be okay and survive this. And I would say I hope you do. But make sure you have 5 of the following: food, water, shelter, means of self-defense, and medicine. You will need that to survive what's coming. I see the future. I lick my finger and put it out and test the winds, right? We do that here. We understand where this goes. And we can tell, we have a feeling, we trust our gut. We know the past. We can smell it. You can just feel it, right? I mean, that was the thing that many German people said during World War II. Many of the people who were living in Nazi Germany in World War II said that they could just feel it, right? Before, when the tyranny was forming, before the bombs started dropping, before the soldiers started shooting, you could just feel it. You could feel it in the air. And it was like that for a long time. But this is a tyranny that's not the same as it was in Nazi Germany. This is a left-wing tyranny. This is more of a communist tyranny. Much of like the Soviet Union, much of like Maoist China, right? This tyranny is a lot like that. The educated class has no connection to the working class at all. They have no empathy, and they have no way to empathize with the working people. And that's what's so scary. Make no mistake, that is what is so scary about this. That our educated people, the ones in power, they're so disconnected from reality. And that's how every tyranny forms. Most tyrannies. Not everyone, but this particular tyranny is forming where you have a tiny group of really, they did really well in school, and it's a tiny group, percentage-wise, it's a tiny group of people. I'd say maybe 5% of graduating classes, maybe even more. Like, this is probably even less than that, probably 1% of graduating classes, maybe even 0.001%, as small as that, who are dictating to the rest of society. And that's the society we've created over the course of the past 30 years. And that's why freedom cannot exist, not under the certain circumstances. Freedom cannot exist because there's no choice. In order to have freedom, you need to have choice. And because we no longer have freedom, because we no longer have choice, a tyranny is forming. You see it, you feel it, you hear it, you sense it. So, again, make sure you have the following, because you don't know where this is going. Nobody does. Food, water, shelter, means of self-defense, medicine. Make sure you have those 5 things, because that's how you'll survive. And the people who don't have those 5 things will not survive. If history is to tell us any different, it's that the people who lagged behind and didn't realize what was coming, those people will not survive. The people who were smart, understood what was coming, um, gathered supplies, had food, had water, had shelter, had means of self-defense, had medicine, those people survived what was coming. The people who didn't survive were the people who were just fools. They didn't understand. They didn't realize what was coming. Those are the people who will not survive. And I hope everybody realizes that. We are going back into a caste system. And that's a very old system. It's a very old system. That was the way it was for years, thousands, tens of thousands of years. You had a tiny group of people who had most of the wealth. These were considered the kings and queens. And then you had the rest of humanity. You had the peasants. You had the slave class. This is how it was for years. And for a short, brief period of time, America had a middle. They had a bell curve in statistics. There was a decent middle class, but we are going back to a caste system. And you can tell by the winds, right? You can tell by the way the language is forming. The language in politics is becoming almost prosecutatory, if that's even a word. Almost like in a persecuting, condescending tone, right? So politics is becoming a sort of a blame game, right? Sort of a blame game. And I've never seen it this bad. It's been bad before, so I don't want to be an alarmist. But not in my lifetime. I've never seen it this bad, and I've talked to older people who tell me that they've never seen it this bad either. The amount of inequality that's forming, and the amount of desperate people out there, I've never seen it this bad. So, maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? I hope I hope I am wrong. I hope I am wrong. But I don't know that I am, and I hate to be right, and I've been right before. So, yeah. Where does this end? Does this end with somebody knocking on your door, forcing you to do something you don't want to? Does this end with the end of private property? I mean, where does this end? We don't know where this ends. That's the scary part. But people don't want to admit that it's happening. But it's coming. It's coming. And there is a fight on the horizon. There is a fight on the horizon. We don't know, again, we don't know where it goes. We don't know what it means. We don't know. There's just no way of knowing, right? But it's coming. And hopefully we'll make it through. All right, guys. Hope you like this podcast. Like, comment, share. Thank you.